All right, UFC 280. My name is James Timmons. I'm going to be breaking down the UFC 280 main card that happened Saturday, October 22nd, starting with the only female fight on the card of the five. It was a good one. Chukagian and Fiort. Both ladies fought a great fight. They kept it standing. They were doing a lot of back and forth striking. Manon was able to take Chukagian down. The one takedown that was in the fight that occurred was substantial. You know, when you don't have a lot of stuff going on other than trading on the stand-up, going for a takedown is huge, and I think the judges saw that. Fiort was a little more aggressive, I think, too, trying to push the pace on the feet, but overall secured quite the win with a takedown in, I believe it was late in the third round, yeah. There was some swelling on Chukagian's eye as well, which didn't really fare well for her in terms of the judges' view. So 29-28 win by Fiort. Next up, we have Beneil Dariush and Mateusz Gamrot. This was a very fun fight. Beneil looked very prepared. He was able to stuff almost all of Gamrot's takedown attempts. There were scrambles. There was a leg lock attempt by Dariush. And I think Gamrot was like 2 or 3. I think it was 3 for 15 on takedowns. So tried a lot, but was not very successful. When they kept it standing, they were actually quite aggressive on each other, with Beneil actually putting him down in round 3 with a huge left hand that left Gamrot a little shaken. He dropped to the ground, and then they scrambled a bit, but that definitely gave Beneil a huge edge in the judges' eyes. Beneil seemed to beat him on the feet, on the ground. Yeah, Dariush won that by a unanimous decision, as it seemed he just pushed a better pace with the stuffing of the takedowns, with the strikes on the feet, and the huge left hand in round 3 that dropped Gamrot. So that was a great win. I really liked that fight. And I'd love to see more of Beneil. All right, next fight on the card, Petr Yan and Sean O'Malley. This one was my favorite fight of the whole card. I believe that O'Malley had enough to get it done, ultimately winning by decision in round 3. A 3-rounder, of course. But I think, you can give it to Petr Yan if you just see it that way, and a lot of people have seen it that way. The body kicks by Yan on O'Malley were very significant, and he was landing shots, and he was providing a lot of ground control. In these 3 rounds, it was very competitive. It was very back and forth. Sean was landing and outstriking Petr Yan in the stand-up, but Yan was taking him down multiple times. I believe 5 or 6 successful takedowns with multiple minutes of ground control on Jan's side. He just didn't seem to be quite as effective on the feet. Ultimately, he was cut on the eyebrow by O'Malley. Big shots were landed by both men in round 3. Each fighter was able to stand up, keep it standing, even though they got rocked. And I do think Yan actually had the biggest shot in the fight, clipping O'Malley on the jaw. But again, O'Malley was able to stay composed. And I think the barrage of punches and the amount of consistent, effective strikes O'Malley was able to land on Yan when they were both standing was enough for the judges to give it to him. He wins by split decision. Okay, in the co-main, we have Aljamain Sterling, TJ Dillashaw. I think this was a bit of a sad fight to watch. TJ Dillashaw was coming to this fight with a predisposed shoulder injury that he was able to keep from the public. He didn't really want to expose himself in that way, because obviously this is a serious co-main event fight that people were, if they had this information on him, it would have been to the detriment of TJ Dillashaw. So anyway, he came into this fight, and in the first round, it popped out. His shoulder popped out. Aljamain was able to get his back. Aljamain was able to take him down, maul him for the whole round. and we had seen it pop back in when the round had ended. His cornermen were able to keep TJ composed enough to continue the next round. So round 2, they keep it standing, and it pops out again. This time, he was taken down again by Aljamain Sterling, and this fight is for the championship, the bantamweight championship belt. And so, big fight, big stakes. It's just so sad to see somebody that actually had the belt previously in TJ Dillashaw being an ex-champion to suffering from such a devastating injury, because this shoulder just continues to pop out and give him problems. But taken down in round 2, he wasn't able to do much, and more ground and pound from Aljo, and he was able to keep it on the ground and just throwing left after right after left after right hand, and hammer fists until the ref had stopped the fight. It was hard to watch a little bit at the end there, just knowing how defenseless TJ was, but good job on Sterling to impose his game plan and do what he does best, which is those takedowns on the ground. Last fight is the main event. It's for the lightweight championship belt in Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev. Round 1, it was Islam that had the ground control in this round, and Islam had a good trip on Charles. They got taken to the ground, where Islam had top control from all of the round, with Charles trying his best to wrap up submissions from his back on the ground. Just wasn't able to do so. Islam throwing ground and pounds, and that was pretty much how that first round went. Round 2, it was obviously started standing, and Charles just didn't seem quite to have the rhythm in which he used to have in his previous fights. And I believe this was because of the threat of the takedown by Islam. In round 2, he went to throw a flying knee, which kind of got him off balance. Islam was able to throw a right hand. It clipped Charles on the chin. Charles came down, hit the floor. He was in his signature kind of on the back position. Islam quickly ran to get on top, see what he could do, throw a submission, throw some ground and pound. And that's exactly what he did. So he got on top as soon as Charles hit the ground, didn't waste any moments, quickly secured a arm choke in round 2, very early in the fight, without Oliveira even really trying to get out of it. He tapped quite early. So it was a great fight. Islam via submission, round 2. That was the end of the card, UFC 280. It was a good one. Maybe not so much how I would like to have seen it, but that's just how it goes, like I said. So UFC 280, great recap, and I'll see you in the next one.